Welcome to all of you who are joining us today, and we're so glad that you're here for our Staying Well at Duke Part 2 webinar of our Summer Transition Series. My name is Dalton Dye, and I'm an Associate Director with New Student and Family Programs here at Duke University, and we're thrilled that you've taken time out of your day to come join us for this webinar. If you've been a part of any of our previous Summer Transition Series, welcome back. And if this is your first time joining us, just some background for you. We host our weekly webinars all throughout the summer to get important information from the campus experts directly in the hands of incoming students. All of our webinars are recorded, so you could always go back to our YouTube page or look at our NSFP website to review any past content, as well as register for our future webinars. Today, we have some colleagues from across campus who are joining us. In particular, we have colleagues from Counseling and Psychological Services, DuWell, and DukeReach. Their teams are here to answer questions and share information around holistic wellness services and support at Duke. Before we start with some introductions, just a few housekeeping pieces of information. We are recording the webinar and it will be posted online after we are finished. You'll also see at the bottom of your screen a Q&A button, and this is your way of asking questions directly to our panelists. As we go through the presentation, if there's something in your mind, feel free to use that to get your question out there. Once all of our slides are concluded, we'll open up the Q&A portion of the event to start going through questions and answering them for the group. So feel free to drop questions in as we go throughout the presentation. We'll also maybe cover some past information as people come and go from this. And we also want to make sure we're answering things out loud for the recording's sake afterwards. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and get started with some introductions. Ty, I think you might kick us off. A little bit of who you are, and then we'll pass it to Tom and Victoria, and then we'll actually get into the content. So Ty, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Tymir Strong-Luador, or Ty. I serve as the Assistant Director for Communication and Outreach here at Duke's Counseling and Psychological Services Office. I am also on staff as a licensed marriage and family therapist here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Zigathy. I'm the Associate Dean and Director of DuWell, which is the public outreach side of our wellness units. And we do a ton of programming, risk management, as well as promoting wellness behavior. Welcome.
Hey, everyone. I'm Victoria Krebs. I have been at Duke 11 years. I'm an Associate Dean in the Dean of Students office, and I'm going to be talking to you about DukeReach today, which is an office here to help you. We are really excited for you to get here in August.
All right, thanks, y'all. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us. And so with that, Ty, I think I'll give you reins and take it from there. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. So one of the things I like to insert about CAPS is that we are here to be your mental health resource on campus. As someone who studies emerging adulthood, as someone who has gone through college, I can understand. Sometimes college is fun. Sometimes college is a bit stressful. And sometimes what that means in order to take care of yourself is that you seek out the help that you need with the resources available. It is absolutely okay to need help. And we are here to try and help you in the ways that we can. Next slide, please. So let's get into it. What do we do? So we are a free confidential counseling service. What this means is that if you are a Duke student who is enrolled for the semester and you have paid the health fee, there are no additional costs incurred for our services. We do not have to worry about billing through insurance, using your parents' insurance, anything like that. As long as you have paid the health fee, you're covered. We do crisis assessment, individual counseling, so that one-on-one group therapy. If any of you have seen some of the things out there on TV in the group therapy shows, it is not that wild, but we do. We keep that foundation in place so we can teach you in community with others how to best care for yourself. Psychiatry and medicine management. So we often get questions from students who may be seeing clinicians outside of here. Can they transfer their care to us? And the answer is yes. We have psychiatrists on staff who can continue with the medications that you have been doing. We also have counselors on staff who can continue with the courses of treatment that you're undergoing. Sometimes students are busy. I've seen a few student schedules and I wonder how you all really get it in throughout the day. So if we find that you can't meet during the times that we are here, CAPS is open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for clinical hours. We are able to refer you to a panel in the community. We have two services actually for that, our Duke panel and then also Timely Care that provides services for students, which you can learn more about. We will talk more about that once you're here at or the different orientations on campus. And we do refer to other appropriate resources. And I like to really talk about that piece because one of the things that we like to say to students that we provide counseling services. So that can look like individual counseling, that can look like group counseling, that can look like medication management, that can also look like referring or walking you over to an identity center and talking about the different ways you can be in the space to help build community. That can mean building some holistic care models with you and your RA. What are some of the things that we can be doing in your residence hall? Because we do find that for some students, it's not always that one-to-one that's needed, but community is what they value. Next slide, please. And so if you're looking for us, and this is just a brief primer, if you're looking for us, we're located on the Student Wellness Center, the 3rd floor. I like to say that this is the most beautiful building on campus. You cannot miss us. We are here. We have our phone number here. When we do 24/7 mental health support. And so that means between 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, students are able to walk in and see a clinician, right? They either have ongoing counseling services scheduled or crisis management. Walk in, meet with someone on our crisis team. However, after that time, if a student is experiencing some type of crisis, they can call and be connected with our on-call counselor. And here's our link. I never know what other things students might be interested in, so please feel free to drop your questions, and at the end, I'll get to them. And that is all for me. Tom, can you talk to us more about DuWell?
Sure, happy to. So you'll notice on there, it's not my email address under DuWell. Sarah works within our area, and I am going to be retiring the end of the month. So by the time you guys get here in August, I won't be here, but I can give you all the info around our services and where to look. Sarah, Michelle, and Joel are also part of DuWell. And if you think about all the services that Ty was just talking about in regards to CAPS, sometimes issues and problems around wellness and well-being don't rise to the threshold of needing a therapist. And so we've got a lot of services that come under that category. We don't want people to wait and to stuff any problems or struggles they may be having until they do need to get something as far along in the scale as therapy. There's a lot that you can utilize in order to help yourself manage stress, simple day-to-day stress, and things that you may be struggling with or going through at Duke. So next slide. So different resources that we've got, you probably already received as of today. The wellness module went out to get you to think about and ask yourself around how do you manage and maintain your own sense of wellness. That includes potential risky behavior or behaviors that might have some risk associated with them. And then how do you evaluate if it's worth the risk to do certain behavior? And so the wellness module gets you framed for that. When you get to campus, you're going to get what's called the blueprint, which is a journal that we've designed specifically for our first-year students. And this will be the inauguration year, I guess is the way to put it, first year that we're doing it. And the journal is really a tool for you to help you to be successful at Duke. There are a couple of things in there regarding a daily practice. As people, we tend to need a routine where we go back to things that are going to feed our wellness. If you think about, obviously, each of us eat every day. We try to get some movement in or exercise. We try to sleep every day. There are additional things that could be done that are going to foster wellness and well-being as well. Things that are going to get you grounded, get you centered, get you in a creative mindset, put you into the healthier nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system that calms your entire body. So there's practices there that we would have outlined in the journal to help you along. There's some reflection pages. And there's also some reflective thoughts that are written in there from upper class students who have already been where you're at. And they give some insight as to how they manage certain things while they were in their freshman year. Resources are listed in the journal as well. If you don't like things in print, we're also going to be piloting the Schmoody app, which is an app online or in your phone that you can download specifically for Duke students. And that is basically doing what's in the journal, but on an electronic means, where you can type into the app areas you might want to work in. Maybe you have trouble sleeping, or you want to build a better exercise routine, or you just want to be happier in general. You mark those pieces into the app, and then the app will help you and give you reminders each day, or whatever way that you want to have that work for you to advance the way you want to enter into your own sense of wellness and well-being. Our programming under the umbrella of Moments of Mindfulness, for the most part, is very creative programming offered by students for students. The idea, again, comes back to how do you manage stress? Because stress tends to be the #1 factor that students list as having an impact on their academic success. And so we offer these programs that help people, again, get into their creative nature. If you've ever lost yourself in a hobby that you might be doing, where time seems to just fly right by, and you're very centered, that's getting back into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where we want you to find your sense of calm. If you want to get more services, you can request some programming on a group health coaching or somatic awareness. There's an Oasis room on each campus, on East and on West. The Bell Tower dorm, first floor, open to everybody for the Oasis space. And then on West Campus, it's in the Wellness Center. And those are really very laid back, calming type rooms that have different tools within them that can help you, again, to manage your wellness. We offer meditation workshops that'll teach 10 different styles of breath work and breathing exercises to help facilitate a meditative practice. And the reason we do that is not that, we're not pushing any kind of an agenda at all. We're really just looking at the research. And within the research, it shows us that anybody who meditates regularly on a daily basis is going to have a greater sense of focus. They're going to have a higher immune system. They're going to know how to manage their stress better, and they're going to have a higher level of self-compassion. So all things that work really well for everyone. And so we are hoping to be able to give you as many tools as possible that you can have in your toolbox so that you're not limited with using one tool to address every single problem that might come up in the 4 years that you're at Duke. We're very much a community that's committed to wellness on Duke's campus and exploring all the different entities and ways that you may be able to find wellness for yourself. Next slide, please. And then we also have this sense of caring for self and others through many different features. So these are different programs that we offer, that we organize within DuWell. There will be an open house the last week of September that you can tour through the building and check out every single floor and what services are on the different areas in the building. There's a pharmacy within the building, a dentist in the building as well as physical therapy, student health, CAPS, DukeReach, and DuWell are all represented in the building. We offer blood drives through a student group where students can donate blood through the Red Cross. We offer safer sex supplies that can be either come in and you gather them up, we'll get them for you, or you can register for them online and we'll bag them up for you anonymously and you can come pick them up. There is STI testing that happens about once a month, again, anonymously, and it's offered by the Durham Department of Public Health to assist people to know what their status is so that they can stay safe and keep their partners safe. Social host training, walk students through, if they decide to go to social events that have alcohol, where the risks may be and what to look for and how to keep yourselves safe in the choices that you make. Narcan initiative, we've got Narcan available in all the different dorms, knowing that at some point in time, people make choices and sometimes not intentionally, they can get into pretty dark situations and problematic situations. And so we have Narcan available if the symptoms and signs are present, that people can help each other out to keep each other safe and protected. There's trainings that go along with those as well so that people know how to use the tools that are offered to them. We also have a group for students that may be in recovery, the Recovery at Duke group called RAD, and they meet every couple of weeks. If we get enough people, we can increase that frequency of the time that they meet and just talk about life in general and functioning at Duke and supporting each other in their recovery. And we have a student internship program where we have about 20 students that are employed by our office that help us to deliver all the programs that I'm talking about. So I would invite you to check us out. Michelle Johnson is on the first floor in the Wellness Center, and she runs the internship program and organizes the meditation workshops and many other features in our programs. Sarah and Joel are over in the Crowell building on East Campus. So you guys will all be living on East Campus. You'll have access to us there as well. Good luck in your freshman year. Welcome. And congratulations.
Hey everyone. Again, I'm Victoria and I work in DukeReach. And DukeReach is the office that you can think of as a place to go if you have questions and need help for yourself or a friend or a classmate about really anything. We'll get you to the place where you need to be. Next slide, please. So we provide we're not therapists, we provide non-clinical case management and work with students who are struggling in a variety of ways to be sure they're aware of all their resources. Sometimes it's meeting with someone from DukeReach, and sometimes it's being connected to another office. CAPS, DuWell are places that we partner with regularly for things related to mental health or physical health or social adjustment, how you're doing here in school, academic concerns, all kinds of things. Next slide, please. So we think about when to reach out to DukeReach. The short answer is if you feel like you need help with someone and don't know who to call, feel free to submit a report. I believe Cody dropped the link to the website in the chat so that you're free to submit a report there if you're concerned about anyone. Mental health is probably the most common reason people submit reports. Obviously, if anyone talks about hurting themselves or suicidal ideation of any kind, if it's an emergent matter, an emergency, you want to call Duke Police. That number is 684-2444. And you'll be going over that in your orientation stuff, but area code 914-684-2444 if it's an emergent situation. But if you're concerned about someone's mental health, you can submit a DukeReach report. And what we do is we reach out to the reporting party to get a little more information, acknowledge we received the report, and then we reach out to the person that you're concerned about to be sure that they are connected with anything that they might need in terms of support. People who, well, you can read the slide, but mental health concerns generally, very serious ones or not so serious ones, are all appropriate to refer. Personal injury. So sometimes people have accessibility issues with buildings, and we can work with the Student Disability Access Office to connect them. But sometimes people get injured, that if, there's a sprained ankle, knee trouble, anything like that, and you have trouble accessing your residence hall, we work with students to get them to a room that they can get to comfortably, get meals delivered, those kinds of things. So if there's a physical injury that requires some help or accommodations, we work with that. Academic well-being, we're not tutors or counselors, but we do meet with students who are struggling academically. Sometimes just talking it out with someone is helpful, but we're also, Duke has so many resources and so many offices set up to help you that sometimes it's overwhelming to know where to go first. And so academic well-being, if you're struggling, we can come up with a plan to use the Academic Resource Center, or, are you going to office hours for your classes? Are you aware of study groups or tutoring sessions for groups for a particular class? Those kinds of things. So we connect students there. And just personal well-being generally. People experience some kind of trauma when they're here at school. People report harassment, discrimination, sexual misconduct, anything like that. DukeReach reaches out to provide support to students to be sure that they have everything that they need. Next slide, Cody. Another service that DukeReach provides is services for emergency situations and food situations. Food, when people, mostly it comes up when people are running out of meal points. So you'll have a meal plan. The website for dining services has a spectacular portal where you can put in how many points you have, what's left, how you should be budgeting that to help you budget your meal plan, but it doesn't work for everyone. And sometimes people run out of food points. So if there's a financial need after you run out of food points, please reach out to us. We have a program called Feed Every Devil, where students who have an abundance of food points left at the end of the semester can donate them to other students who may have run out and not be easily able to refill them. We also have a student emergency fund, which is emergency money for an urgent or emergency situation. If there's a death in the family and someone needs a quick plane ticket to get home, those kinds of things, we are able to fund that for students when there's a need. Yeah, I guess next slide. Oh.
Great. Thank you, Victoria, Ty, and Tom for your presentation pieces there. Victoria, was there anything else that you wanted to add? I know that's the end of the slides.
That was kind of abrupt. Yeah, I thought there was a final one. Just to say that we're so excited that you're coming. We can't wait till you get here. I know this is a really exciting and stressful time, and you're working to say goodbye to friends and that have you've lived with for years and years many times, and it can be exciting and stressful, and we are very excited for you to get here in August.
Great. Thank you, Victoria. I do want to echo that as well. Summer on a college campus, things feel very quiet with all the students gone. And so I think it's gotten to the point in the summer where I'm like, okay, when's moving coming? Like I need a little bit of life back on campus. So a month and a day from now, it's coming up soon. So anyway, with that, I think we'll go ahead and get into the Q&A portion of our presentations today. I've seen some questions that have been coming through as we've been going, which is great. Definitely want to answer all of those. But again, at the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A button, which is a chance for you to ask any questions of our panelists. And we'll just kind of go through them round robin. I know, Ty, you answered a couple questions about counseling, both what does brief mean and how to schedule, but I was hoping you might be able to share verbally for the people who are watching the recording later as well.
Absolutely. And so the question asks is, what does brief mean when we talk about for individual counseling? Please hold, because I think my director is at my office door. Give me 1 second.
Great. Well, in the meantime, the other question, oh no, okay, great. Good.
Hello. Okay, so when we're talking about brief counseling, what I explained is that it generally looks like we're tackling the presenting issue. And so frequently when students are coming to our offices, they're coming to talk about a specific problem. So what we're doing in our sessions is we're helping students figure out what that specific problem is, and then we're working through that. Once we get that problem resolved, then our sessions tend to terminate, or we tend to end there. And so that's what we mean by brief. We work with students on the presenting issue, that one or two issues that they said, okay, this is what I need fixed in order to be able to function on a day-to-day basis. And we do that. I did see another question that I wanted to touch on. And it said, normally if we drop in without an appointment to see a clinician, how busy are the services? How long are wait times generally? And so thank you for that question. We have been doing a lot of talking about what we're doing in our same-day services. And so that's what we call them. Same-day services are for students who are generally in high crisis mode, and we're working to stabilize them in that moment. And so this is a student who may have just received some bad news. Emotions are really high, and they need to process through what next steps need to be in order for them to just be able to relax and move forward. Sometimes that can be students who are noticing that they are not feeling well, or they want to start services, right? And so we try to tell students, please make sure you have at least an hour. Students will have to complete paperwork. So when you come in, you'll receive a tablet. It will walk you through what we're going to do. But you also have to give us some information, just about a brief, I think doctor's appointment. I think that's the best way to say it. I think doctor's office, some of the paperwork that you have to fill in for that. Once you do that, then you'll be able to meet with one of our track counselors. And track is our triage, refer, access, and crisis team. You'll be able to meet with them, and they will help you process through, okay, what are next steps? How can CAPS help you? is CAPS the best resource for you? Should we connect you with some of our other partners? We can go from there. And so we try to tell students, please have at least an hour. And peak times at that time can look a little higher, right? If other students are also trying to be seen, it can look a little high. So we do try to tell students, make sure you have the time available. Sometimes this might not be the thing to squeeze in between lunch and your next class.
Great. Thank you for answering both those questions. That's really good. I think a couple questions, and Tom, it looks like you answered some of those as well, but with the wellness modules in particular, I know those emails went out today, I believe, to all of our incoming students. Can you talk a little bit more about what those are and if students are having trouble accessing them, what the next steps
Sure.
would be?
So yeah, the wellness module, give it 24 hours to come out. It's been sent out to the entire freshman class this afternoon or this evening. You'll receive it in your Duke email account. And the idea of it is that you will take the module itself covers things like choices around substance use and alcohol, but it also talks about wellness patterns and behaviors that you may be doing, and things to consider. So it gives you an idea of what are the practices that you do right now to really maintain yourself other than just completing work all the time. There are ways to balance friendships and conversations and making sure that how do you address if you're going to feel lonely at certain times when you're getting used to the campus. And if homesickness comes along, having certain practices for yourself, and building them up with other students who are also interested in doing these behaviors will help. And so the module goes through all of those components. And then there's another question on here about what is Oasis, and the Oasis is a room on West Campus and on East. And it's a room really for students, dedicated for students. We have a sound therapy chair there, where you get bathed in the sound waves in the chair that helps to reduce and manage stress. And there's a massage chair in each of those rooms as well. There are things like aromatherapy that you can partake in and use, in order to help to keep yourself calm. There's Tibetan singing bowls and Chinese peyote balls and sun lamps and different things that are just different practices from various cultures that would apply to wellness. You may not like all of them, but you may find there's a new one there that you've never tried before and that it really helps, and it is something that you like to practice. So again, adding more tools to your toolbox, giving you different things to contemplate and think about when it comes to wellness and well-being.
Great. Thank you. Another question I think that comes up a lot for students is, especially since all three of your offices interface in some way, shape, or form. If I'm a student who thinks that I need help or a friend needs help, but I don't know exactly who to turn to, where should I start? Like who should I call? Who should I email? Can you talk a little bit about the overlap and distinction between the three of your units?
I mean, I think DukeReach is because I'm calling from DukeReach, everyone will probably say their office. I think DukeReach is a good place to start, that we help connect people with lots of different places. Certainly DuWell. I mean, my colleagues all have great people in their offices, and you'll find when you get here, you probably will gravitate to an office and get to know someone, or I hope that you do. And that person can direct you, in the right way. I think it depends a little bit what the struggle is, that if you feel like you're basically okay but could be better, I think that's a great time to start engaging in DuWell's offerings. Counseling, that if you feel like you do want to work with a therapist and are struggling with something, anxiety, depression, going up to CAPS, if it turns out not to be the best fit, they'll send you where you need to go, and you're welcome to chat with DukeReach people too.
And so I would say our office is where you come to. If you don't know where to start, you can come with us. But yes, DukeReach is a really good entry point into knowing all the resources available to you on this campus. Our office would be if you kind of, you want to see a therapist, you want to be able to talk to someone and process in a clinical way feelings of anxiety or stress that you may have. Our office is who you would come to.
And not to be left out, DuWell is also in that whole triumvirate. And it really, for us, if you think of all services being on a Likert scale of 1 to 10, different offices are going to kind of approach you depending where you are on that scale. If your stress level is way, way down, like 1 or 2 or 3, more than likely, and even up to 5 or 6, you're going to benefit much better off of the DuWell programs. If you're hitting those crisis points where you really feel like you need potentially professional service, then you're going to be going to DukeReach, who can help connect you higher, as well as CAPS. DukeReach obviously is also going to correct you or connect you the other direction if that's what you need. So they're kind of the connector point, and the rest of us are giving kind of an ongoing service. But it really depends. It's you finding a balance with the assistance of people at Duke of what a semblance of services works for you.
Yeah, that's really great. As the neutral party who does not oversee any of these offices, I think I maybe would also just synthesize and say you can talk to any one of these groups. And in fact, Duke is a very caring community across the board. And so you reaching out to somebody saying, I need a help and I don't exactly know where to go, you're going to get put in contact with the people who know the best. And so whether that person you reach out to is your RA or your RC or a TA in a classroom or new student family programs, like there's a lot of people out here who can point you in the right direction. And the important part is just reaching out and saying something in the first place. I think there's another question I feel like I hear a little bit, especially more. I feel like holistic wellness is something that students coming out of high school are even more aware of than when I was leaving high school and have some interest in it. So I guess my question is less from a utilizing the resources perspective, but more from a, I want to get involved. I want to learn more about the subject. I want to connect with staff who share some of these same interests. Do your offices offer anything like that that students could reach out from an involvement side of things?
Yes. We talked about the internship program, which is students who are working with us, but we also work with volunteers who are interested in learning the material. We can train you on it. You can actually be hosting a program if you'd like to, and we'll work with you. We don't like to turn students away. So we can work with you with wherever you're at, whatever you want to get involved in. There are definitely volunteer opportunities as well as down the road, there'll be hiring opportunities too.
For our office, because of the work that we do, we don't have much of a student presence on the day-to-day basis because of the confidential nature of things and the needs to be licensed in a certain way to work with our students. However, every year we are doing a wellness fair, and we do like to recruit students to help out and plan with that because we think students know how to engage other students and carry for themselves. And so around maybe about January, February, we'll start sending calls out for students who may want to work with us on that.
Victoria, anything from you? I don't want to leave you out if there was any thoughts you had there.
No, I was reflecting on the last question. I think if you come and you're feeling anxious or feeling nervous or something's not going well, I think CAPS and DukeReach are good places to reach out. At the same time, if you're worried about a new friend, someone you've met in a class or lives on your floor, concerns about that, DukeReach is a great resource for that. But if things are going really well, DuWell is still a great place to check in because things can be better and you can develop skills and meet people and develop habits that will keep things to be going well. You don't have to sort of be in crisis. As I'm thinking from a student perspective about these 3 offices.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think Tom, you and your team talk about this a lot of how can we do little things now to prevent big things from happening later, and I think that speaks a lot to what Victoria is mentioning here. Victoria, can I ask a follow-up question? You mentioned being able to file a report on behalf of somebody else you're concerned about. Do those remain anonymous, or do you have to attach your name to those?
So you don't have to attach your name to those. And certainly we'd rather have the information without your name. But we usually can, if you do include your name but don't want us to share your name, can do that in the outreach. And you'd be surprised how many anonymous reports get submitted in a variety of platforms on campus that spell the person's name wrong, or we have 3 people by that name, or you're really stressed out and worried about that person and you just call them Bob. And there's no way to follow up when it's anonymous. So if you're going to do an anonymous report, be sure you read what you wrote a couple times to be sure we have everything we need and you've given all the information you have, because that's just so frustrating that we really want to help and we can't connect with that student. So.
Great, thank you. It looks like our questions have trickled up a little bit. So if you have any final burning questions, now's your chance to get those asked and answered. But I think maybe I'll close with one more general one in the meantime. So for the three of you, what's an example of something that you hear from an upper class student that says, oh, if I would have known this as my first semester on campus, like my Duke experience would have been so much more smooth, or it would have put me on a better path. And I just didn't know that when I was here fall, spring, first time on campus. Any examples, words of wisdom would be great.
I have often had seniors walk in saying that they wish they were more true to themselves in their first year, not acting in certain ways to try to get friends or attract people in, that was possibly counter to who they are. Often this revolves honestly around alcohol and choices in drinking, that, people going out and drinking too much when that's not something that they tend to do. And they were doing it in this effort to try to meet people and make friends, and then finding out that that's not who they are, that's not what they like to do. And so when they met people in that world, they weren't friends that actually lasted. So I would say the number one factor is be true to who you are when you get here. And trust the fact that as you present yourself as you are, you're going to meet people that are going to take to you. You don't have to change to accommodate others.
In that vein, I would say I've had a student point out how much time they spent on trying to build the mega friend group. It is something I'm not quite sure how the message is passed down, but it's if you have a lot of friends, then you are socially valid. And it was finally in the last semester of their senior year, they realized how false that was. And so I guess my words of wisdom with that would be, you do not quality over quantity. And I know that sounds cliche and it probably sounds like it's coming from an old person, but trust me, you will learn you do not need 15, 20 people in your corner who identify as your friends to feel like you are valued, accepted, appreciated here. Quality. Go for the friends who respect your ethics, values, morals. Go for the friends who will pour into you like you pour into them, right? Not the ones who only want to hang out to drink on the weekends, but they won't study with you. It's not your friend.
I don't know that a ton of people say this, but a few people have said it, and I will say many of you are, moving away from home not all of you, but from home for the first time. And there's lots of things in addition to classes that you're learning to manage, how to plan to get your meals in and when to go to bed, how much sleep to get, how much exercise to get. And that sleep, eat, exercise, stuff is really important. And I think people tend to burn it on both ends a little bit too long. And I know it's not a real exciting answer, but remember your sleep, remember your diet, and remember your exercise. We have great options for exercise classes and the wellness center and tons of things to do. So don't forget that stuff. If anyone's mother's with them, they're nodding right now.
Great. That's a good note to end on, Victoria. So thank you. And thank you, Ty and Tom, for your words of wisdom as well. And for all of you who are in attendance today, thank you for joining us today. As previously mentioned, this was recorded. So if you came on late or, well, if you're leaving early, you aren't going to hear this part. But if you missed part of it or want to share it with any of your friends, family members, or fellow incoming students, it will go up on our YouTube page in a couple of days. We do have to transcribe the recording before we upload it, so it'll take us a little bit to do that. But once we do, we'll share it out as soon as that process is completed. Our next webinar is going to be next Tuesday, the 22nd, 4 p.m. Eastern again, and that will be with pre-health advising. So if you have questions, if you're thinking about pre-health, pre-med, any of the pre-professional programs, This is a great chance to get connected with some folks from their office, especially with registration coming up. So we hope to see you there. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week, be safe. And if you have any other questions that didn't get covered tonight, please send us an email, studentorientation@duke.edu. With that, thank you all for being here, and take care.